Happy Friday, crypto traders and investors. It's Rod with Powell Group. Welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth, your home for MJ Stocks, crypto assets, news, and interviews. As I mentioned, it's Friday, January 17th. Hope you're having a fantastic day and a great weekend ahead. In this video, we're going to be discussing when will alt season end. And I'll start off by saying I don't have a crystal ball, none of us do, but I did have this question in the Powell Group private community. We were talking about this. Shout out to the Powell Group member who brought this up for an idea of a video. Essentially, he said, this would be a great idea for a video. They would like to know, but also figured that other people would find value in it as well. And again, recognizing that I don't have a crystal ball, I'll give my thoughts and opinions on this and what are some of the clues that we can look out for, because as euphoria is just around the corner, right? That blow off top usually means mass euphoria, and things get pretty crazy, and it's easy to get caught up in the hype and kind of forget about your game plan and then make decisions on the fly, which we want to avoid as much as possible. You don't want to let your emotions kind of seep in and make decisions for you or get you perma-bull or perma-bear, right? So I'll discuss this and more. Before we do, make sure to smash the like. It helps support me in the channel. If you're new, you can subscribe, tick the bell, you'll be notified on any future videos or when I go live. And as always, this is not financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. Never buy or sell anything based on anything that I say or write. You can also follow us over on X, formerly Twitter. The handle for that is @GroupPow. Going to be using that as my platform of choice going forward. So I've been saying for a while now that I think Bitcoin will probably top out somewhere around $120,000 to $140,000 is the most likely scenario. We're back over 100K, and we seem to be holding it quite steadily here at the moment. We're kind of we're stabilizing here at the moment above 100,000. We did hit 106,000 a few hours ago, and we're just hovering around 104. So I think this is good. We should see one final push higher, I think, in Bitcoin. And like I said, we should get up sometime. I think somewhere around that 120 to 140 makes a lot of sense. Could it go higher than that? Absolutely. But I think that's the most likely scenario. And then once Bitcoin tops out, we'll see Bitcoin retrace and we'll see dominance drop and we'll see altcoins really start to explode. The best environment for altcoins is when Bitcoin price is slowly rising and the dominance is going down, meaning it's, capitalization of the market. So when money starts to rotate out of Bitcoin into other alts, that's when we see full on alt season, which I think is just around the corner. I would say a matter of weeks. I think Bitcoin more than likely going to top out in the next week or two with all these strategic reserves and everything that's going on at the moment. There's so many bullish, there's talks about no tax crypto, the new administration coming in, right? It could even be a type of sell the news, buy the rumor, sell the news. We have a crypto ball coming in. So there's a lot of catalysts on the horizon here just over the next week. But I do think the most likely scenario, Bitcoin topped out around 120, 140K, and then it'll pull back. And then on its lower high, I think that's when Bitcoin will, there'll be rotation out of Bitcoin into alts, and that'll be our full on alt season. But, just my own thoughts and opinions based on the charts, based on, the fundamentals, what I'm seeing, not just from a crypto perspective, but the broader markets, the NASDAQ, which, are very correlated to that. I would say some point in February or March would be a good area to be targeting for a top. And if I bring up the XRP chart here, I've been charting this for quite a while, that the boom and bust cycles for Bitcoin, which is the blue bars here on the screen, which is a fractal from the all-time price history index of Bitcoin. I overlaid that with XRP, and you can see that the boom and bust cycles are very, very similar. And it's saying sometime around March is when XRP could top out. And I do think XRP will lead alts this alt season because it's been left out of the last one in 2021 because of this bogus SEC lawsuit. But we know that the SEC, we have a new administration coming in and we have a new SEC chair coming in, and it's Gary Gensler's last day today. So we're going to have a pro SEC chair. We're going to have a pro first ever, crypto president. And then we're going to have a pro Congress as well. About 60% of Congress is in favor of crypto and pro crypto. So this is a sea change. A new day is coming. And I do think XRP is going to lead. And again, that bust cycle is saying sometime around March or April is where we could potentially top out on XRP. I think that makes a lot of sense. We're probably going to see a case resolution with the SEC. I think it'll be favorable for Ripple, either a settlement, I think is the most likely, or possibly a dismissal. And then XRP ETFs, right? We're probably going to see partnerships. We're going to see, the new administration come in. There's so many catalysts, but those are the major ones. And then, like I said, I think that will propel us up to somewhere around that $14 to $16 mark. And that's saying around March or April. And again, that makes a lot of sense to me because XRP should lead alts this alt season. It's the volume of XRP is passing Bitcoin on a lot of exchanges, and things are really starting to heat up here. So we'll take a look at Total 2 here. And this is the entire market cap of crypto, excluding Bitcoin. So there's a few things I'm going to be looking for. And this was what the POW Group private member who requested this had asked. Is there any clue? Was there a downtrend on a certain time frame? What sort of clues can we be looking out for? So I basically highlighted the 4 major clues that I think we need to keep an eye out for this time around. And typically, alt seasons usually last a month to a few months. It can last a little bit longer than that. There's no set rule or anything like that, obviously, and we don't have a crystal ball. But typically, alt season generally lasts anywhere from 60 to 90 days. You could say a month to 2 months probably on average, but it's usually somewhere around that 60 to 90 days. And in that time frame, things can happen quickly. A day feels like a month and a month feels like a year, right? So in this instance, I would say, the next couple of months, like I said, I think March, April at the latest, I think is probably the most likely scenario. But I'm going to be taking profit very, very soon, and I'll probably be mostly out, I would say 80 to 90% of my crypto sometime around between now and the end of February and March. So that's my game plan, but what we're going to be looking out for, so we can use a few different tools, but the major thing I'm going to be looking for is a weekly downtrend. You can see here back in 2018 when we peaked. This is on the monthly time frame. We confirmed a monthly downtrend, but by the time you confirm a monthly downtrend, we had already pulled back 75%. So that's not the best way to be looking at it, in my opinion. I think the weekly is the best time frame to be looking at. So you can see here in January 2018 is where we peaked, and then we formed a lower high and then a lower low right here. So essentially, we pulled back about, it's still 66%. From there, but even from that 66% pullback, we still saw another 75% from there, right? And then from the local high to the local low there, the bear market, we pulled back about 92%. And each pullback now, after each bull market into every bear market, it's going to be less and less and less pullbacks, right? And law of diminishing returns. So you'll have less upside, but less downside, similar to like an Amazon chart, right? We would never see Amazon pull back 90%. It'd pretty much be the like Armageddon, it'd be the world ending, right? So looking at a weekly downtrend, and then also an EMA 12 and 26 bear cross on the weekly. So as we look here on Total 2, back in 2018, we confirmed a weekly downtrend, and then we had the EMA 12 and 26 bear cross. That would be clue number 2 that I'd be looking out for. And then if we zoom out here and bring back our notes, so weekly downtrend, weekly EMA bear cross, and RSI is going to be huge as well. So if you look at the weekly time frame, typically alt season gets pretty crazy and hits somewhere around 90 plus on the RSI. So anything 70 and above is considered overbought territory. So what I'm going to be looking out for is the monthly and the weekly to both be in the 90s to mark the top, right? If we look back to 2017, 2018, RSI on the monthly time frame actually got as high as 99, almost 100. And then we had formed a lower high and a lower low here, but we peaked out after on a lower high around 96 on the RSI. Even here, we hit about 94 and then peaked out, and we do have some bearish divergence here with lower highs on the RSI. So we might even hit, somewhere around 90. I would say that'd be a good area to target on the monthly RSI. We want to see the weekly RSI somewhere around, 90, 95 as well. But if we have weekly and monthly RSI sitting above 90s, I think that'll be a major clue that we're probably hitting a top. We're probably going to see a long-term top be in sooner rather than later. And then also another thing that we can look at is fib extension levels. So I'll just give you an example here. So if we take a look at the fibs from Total 2, and this is everything excluding Bitcoin, if we go from the low to the high there, usually the 2.618, 3.618 are very common, and we hit the 3.618 to perfection. So if we do something similar here for this time around, and we extrapolate this a little bit, expand it out, get our fib tool, we go from the high of the 2021 bull market to the low of the bear market here, And you can see the 3.618 would bring us up to around $5.2 trillion. I think that makes a lot of sense. Somewhere, Brad Garlinghouse mentioned that, he said that the crypto market should easily be at around 5 trillion. He said before the end of 2024 that obviously that didn't happen. We came very close. We're over 3.58 trillion here at the moment. So, we're not too far off. We're about just under 1.5 trillion away. I think somewhere around 7 to 8 trillion is the most likely scenario. So if you take total 2, which excludes Bitcoin, the 3.618 would bring us to around 5.2 trillion, and then add on Bitcoin's market cap, which is currently at around 2 trillion. That makes a lot of sense. That's around 7.2 trillion. So I think somewhere around that $7 to $8 trillion mark would make a lot of sense. And again, that lines up with our fib extension levels at around the 3.618. You can even bring up total 3. Total 3 is a cup and handle as well, and we have a target of about 2.28 trillion, which would bring us up to around the 2.618. But I think, the 3.618 is very doable, somewhere around that $3.3 trillion mark. But again, this is total 3 minus the crypto market cap of Bitcoin and Ethereum. So if you add Bitcoin and Ethereum's market cap onto 3.2 or 3.3 trillion, again, you're sitting at somewhere around that $6 trillion to $7 trillion mark. So could we hit the 4.618 somewhere around 4 trillion? That's very, very possible. But if we just remove our fib tool here, the cup and handle target just from current price or from the current level that we're at in the market cap now would be about 115% of upside from here. So over double what we're currently sitting at on total 3. So hopefully that makes sense. Again, we don't have a crystal ball. I can't say for sure, but those are the major things that I'll be looking out for. And yeah, curious to hear what everybody else has to say. If you have any other clues that you're looking out for, if there's anything you want more clarity on, please let me know. But yeah, weekly downtrend, weekly EMA 12 and 26 bear cross, monthly RSI, weekly RSI in the high 90s, and hitting our fib extension levels. I think the 3.618 is very doable this cycle, but I would probably put the most emphasis on monthly and weekly RSI. If we see the monthly and the weekly above 90, then I think there's a good chance that the temporary top is, well, the long-term top is in, and we could be starting a new bear market, which could span a couple of years. I think at least 1 to 2 years is the most likely scenario. So that would be the major clue. I think monthly and weekly RSI somewhere around 90 to 95. Never a bad idea to start taking profits, at least start taking profits off the table when we're, around 90 RSI on those longer term timeframes. But going in it there, if this video was helpful, please smash the like, leave a comment, give me your thoughts and opinions, and the conversation will continue below. Happy Friday once again. Hope you have a fantastic weekend ahead. It's Rod with the Powell Group. Thanks again for joining us on the Pursuit of Wealth, and we'll see you again on the next video.